Hey everybody, welcome back to TT Plays. I know it's been a little while since I did a Fab video. By a little while, I mean 2 weeks. But I had to talk about this new card, probably my favorite design space I've seen in Flesh and Blood yet, and that's Intoxicating Shot. But before we dive into this too much, I do want to talk about Flesh and Blood in general right now. It's in a bit of a lull period. We're in that weird period where the meta's there. We're kind of waiting for the new set. There are big events after the new set, but the meta's going to change obviously when the set drops. And I normally kind of take a little bit of a break from Fab around this time. So I've been playing a lot of Grand Archive. Obviously, you've seen the Grand Archive content if you subscribe here. But I'm really excited about this spoiler, Intoxicating Shot. And again, this is my favorite design space because to me, this so perfectly encapsulates Riptide. So DM Armada spoiled this, and it's a blue block 3. So the floor for this card is phenomenal. It's a blue block 3, and it's a 0 for 4. So that's just that's phenomenal rate all around. We have Riptide specialization, but the best part about this is when this hits a hero, they create a Courage and a Quicken token. So we're giving our opponent things that are normally beneficial in that Courage and Quicken token. But before we dive into that, let's talk about the card a little bit, right? We always talk about blue block 3, the floor being really high, right? So it's going to pitch for the maximum amount. It's going to block for basically the maximum amount. And a 0 for 4 is really just phenomenal, right? We normally think of our offensive cards providing 3.5 to 4 points of damage. This provides 4 points of damage as a blue. So again, just really, really nice, really above rate. So, okay, so let's get into this Courage and Quicken token here real quick. So Courage says when you play an attack action card or activate a weapon, destroy this in the attack. It's +1. Quicken, of course, says when you play an attack action card or activate a weapon, destroy this in the attack. It's go again. So why would we want to give our opponent those beneficial cards? Well, it's because as Riptide, we're playing all these obnoxious traps. So when this defends an attack with power greater than its base, put a -1 counter on equipment we control, right? And we just talked about how Courage is going to make their next attack get +1. So this immediately turns on Boulder Trap. Buzzsaw Trap. When defending attack with power greater than the base attack, the attack can't gain power this turn. So not a huge deal. Maybe they buffed it with something else. Maybe they cut it with a pummel, but again, turns on the Buzzsaw Trap. Collapsing Trap. When this defends against an attack with go again, the attacking hero discards their hand and draws that many -1. The Quicken token is going to grant it go again, right? That's what I mean. It's just a really, really cool design space. Obviously, there's other ones. There's Inertia Trap here to give them the Inertia token for the Courage. Again, the Quicken will trigger the Frailty Trap. There's just a lot of really cool things involved there. And of course, every time Riptide is triggering a trap, we're dealing 1 damage back to them. So again, I just love the design space of this card. I wasn't super jazzed about Mechanologist. It's not my favorite class. I'm excited to see what they do with it. But Current Dash isn't my favorite, and Data Doll we tried, but we just couldn't get it to work. But I just love this card. A blue block 3, a 0 for 4. When it hits a Courage and a Quicken token, right? Courage is going to buff their next attack or their attack action. Courage is going to give their next weapon attack or attack action go again. And that's just going to turn on all of these obnoxious traps, right? Boulder, Buzzsaw, Collapsing, Inertia, Frailty, and Tar Pit all get turned on from that, which is just amazing. Love the card, love the design. Is the card going to be very good? Probably not, because it's bolted onto Riptide. But again, I love how thematic it is. I really love the design space of it. I can imagine the design meetings for the card. I am so stoked that they introduced something like this that so perfectly encapsulates this big bruising ranger who wants to just use a whole bunch of obnoxious traps on people. So, let me know what you think about Bright Lights. Let me know what you're playing in Flesh and Blood right now. I do have some more Flesh and Blood content scheduled to come out. Last week was just a little bit busy. I have an interview with the Blood Rush Fellows from Colorado Springs to talk about Bravo. We have another couple interviews for Colorado players to do deck highlights. And then we'll start getting into decks that I think are good heading into this Mechanologist season as we get more spoilers from it. So that's all I've got for today, folks. Again, till next time, everyone, cheers and happy gaming.